Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Gonna keep this one pretty simple and straightforward. I just want to take a look at 6 new pickups for my collection, additions that I've never shown here on the channel before, all of which are from one of my favorite modern parallels, the Topps Black parallel, which is in flagship and update, going back nearly continuously all the way back to 2003. With just a couple of small caveats in there. Really enjoy collecting these. I've talked about them many times here on the channel, so I'll spare kind of the long-winded explanation. I've shown a ton of them off here in the past, including the 2 that you see front and center in the backdrop there. But today I have half a dozen new ones, or new to the channel at least, and we're just going to get right into it here without wasting any more time. The first of the 6 is this JV. Justin Verlander from 2022 Topps. And this one I know will be appreciated by my Astros collecting friends, including Brent and Dan over at Old Sarge Collects. And you'll be glad to see this because later in the video, I'll have a card to kind of finish it off that is not going to be nearly as fun for Astros fans to see. But this one is great. This is in, I believe, a Cy Young year. I want to say the 3rd and to date, and probably for good, final Cy Young year. For Justin Verlander. Love collecting him. I know pitchers get, relatively little love compared to hitters in the hobby, but the big pitchers of any era I do enjoy collecting, and I think Verlander cards are kind of sneaky cheap just because he's not a power hitter, and was able to scoop this one without dropping very much money at all, especially in the realm of Topps Black. So really happy with that one. Next up, I have another pitcher that I would include in my kind of triumvirate of the best 21st century pitchers, and that is Max Scherzer, and this is his 2018 release. And if you've watched any of my recent videos here on the channel, this one may look familiar because I did acquire the Independence Day parallel to match this as well, and love anytime I can pair up both of these kind of paper, non-chromium, relatively low-numbered Topps parallels for a card that I like. And to be able to do that here with the 2018 Scherzer is awesome. And like the Verlander, and for the same reasoning as the Verlander, not an expensive card to add to the collection at all. This next one is definitely, for me, a very sentimental pickup. A player that was probably the most clutch player that I've ever seen play and rooted for my hometown team, which is the Boston Red Sox. David Ortiz, Big Papi. I was able to pick up, this one came quite a while back, just haven't had an opportunity to show it off. I believe I got this from ComC, if memory serves. Not terribly expensive either, but I love this one. While this is not his final Topps card, he did get a 2017 issue. This 2016 does represent his final season with the Red Sox. He called it a career, retired and wrapped it up after 2016. And I love that kind of fittingly his 2016 Topps card shows him with like a tip of the cap to the crowd at Fenway, kind of thanking the Fenway faithful for all of their support over the years. And I think it's, when you consider that and the fact that this was his last season, this image is so fitting. And it's one of my favorite David Ortiz cards for that reason. And very, very happy to have one of the Topps Black. This is card number 200 from Series 2 of 2016 Topps. And as you can see, I didn't show this for the first couple, but this one here is serial numbered to 65, copy 32 of 65 on the David Ortiz. These increment by 1 each year in serial numbering, and the idea being it's the delta between the current year and 1951 when Topps began producing baseball cards. So awesome, Big Papi there. That I've never really formally looked at it, but I would imagine this would be a top 10 David Ortiz card in my collection, just because of my love of this parallel combined with the image. So, all right, the last 3 that I have to close it out here are graded, and they're probably the 3 bigger names out of this lot. They are all very popular players in the hobby and players who have been in the news quite a bit over the last few years. And we'll start with this one, which has a really cool tie to it. And it's the reason the Pete Rose card is up in the background there. Of course, MLB's all-time hit king, and now after recent changes this past year, eligible for the Hall of Fame going forward. But the reason he's out here is actually for an Ichiro card, believe it or not. So from the same set as the David Ortiz, although this was in the update series that came out after the season, and you'll see why. I got this beautiful Ichiro the other day in a PSA 9. This was a recent pickup within the last month. Went up as a buy it now, and typically, my rule most of the time is to try to stick to the player's base card when it comes to these parallels, not drift into like all-star and subset cards and combo cards for the most part. But every rule is made to be broken, right? And I'm not a strict adherent to even my own hobby rules because this is supposed to be fun after all. And this card just spoke to me when I learned what the subject matter was. It's going to be a little bit hard to make out here on screen, but I'll read it to you. Basically, it says below his name, collects 4,257th professional career hit. So this is a checklist card in Topps Update, but as they have done in recent years, Topps takes advantage of the checklist to give us kind of a normal card on the front and to get some interesting kind of records, feats, players of note, things like that. And so this, of course, represents Ichiro surpassing Pete Rose. Now, of course, he didn't do this in the official record books because he played the first so many seasons over in Japan and won just countless batting titles over there before coming over to the United States. But given how successful he was, almost immediately, you do wonder. And I think either way, it's just a cool record to hold for kind of the most combined professional hits between Nippon Professional Baseball and Major League Baseball. Love the image here. That black Marlins jersey is like a really nice match for the color of this. And so in this one instance, and on top of that, graded a PSA Fine 9, which is a really great grade for a Topps Black from any year. Had to break my own rule here and pick this one up, even though it's a checklist card. And this is definitely one of my favorite Ichiro cards in my entire collection, and probably my favorite Ichiro as a Mariner card that I own. So really happy with this one. And despite all of his increased notoriety of late due to his Hall of Fame induction and his epic speech and all of that, this was available, very cheaply, even graded. I'd have to go back and look, but I want to say I paid somewhere in the realm of $70 to $80 for this card. So some of you may think that's crazy. I stand by that. I love this pickup, and really happy to have that one in the collection. This next one does not have nearly as cool a story as that, but it's just a player who is increasingly leaving his mark on the game and in turn becoming increasingly difficult to find as far as this particular parallel goes. Picked up the 2021 Aaron Judge. Now, I'll say something that is going to sound negative about this one. I don't love the look of Topps Black in the SGC tux. It's a lot of black and it kind of blurs the borders a little bit. So for the same reason, I don't really love 1971 Topps Baseball in SGC. Kind of feel the same way about these parallels. But in this case, like I mentioned, his parallels are drying up with good reason as he continues to rack up home runs and MVPs and be kind of one of the top personalities across the league into his early 30s here. And finally decided, this is my opportunity to pick up the 2021. In the future, maybe I'll crack this out or even just send it to PSA exactly as is, have it crossed over, whatever. Maybe I'll find a different copy and end up selling this one down the line. But for now, I was able to finally bring this one in. And I really won't turn down any Aaron Judge from this parallel if it's, at the right price point. And you can't be too picky with a card that is serial numbered, in this case, to 70. So just pumped to get that one into the collection. A rare SGC card here on Shoebox Legends. And then we're going to close it out with a player who is kind of seems like his market is really down right now. I don't love using those terms. This is baseball cards, but his prices are lower than they've been in years, I feel like. And you hear all these stories about him having a down year this year, and I understand some of that. But this player is, to me, still has a really bright future and has already had an incredibly successful career. And it is, of course, Juan Soto, who is depicted at left there on that short print from 2020 Topps Chrome Baseball. Was able to pick this one up. This just came in within the last few days, and it went up as a buy it now Went back and forth with the seller and was able to get it for a little bit over $100. Again, some of you may shake your head at that, but I do love collecting modern, and this is the way that I love to do it. And this is a third-year Juan Soto. I think it is a sneaky good card. It's, again, in a PSA 9, just like that Ichiro. Not an easy grade. And like I mentioned, it just seems like if you believe in Juan Soto as a player and you're a fan of his, it seems like a really good time maybe to go out and get some of his cards. I think, if this card had been up for auction or even as a buy it now, maybe 3 to 4 years ago, I probably wouldn't own it and I wouldn't be showing it in this video. But right now he seems to have a lot of haters or just not a huge hobby following. I get that he is not an exciting, dynamic personality in the way that Ohtani and Judge are, and isn't really a magnet like that. I get that he's played for, 4 different teams now over the last few years, but this guy is 26 years old. He's already got a career WAR over 40 at age 26, World Series championship, and in this down year that he's having right now, he's got like 26 home runs, something like that. As I record this, is leading the league in walks with 89 walks. So, I mean, for a down year, certainly I've seen worse. And I am still a believer and a fan of his long-term. I enjoy collecting his cards, and I'm honored to add this one to my collection. And the last thing I'll say about this, to date, probably, arguably the most notable thing he's done in his career, at least what I think of in my mind when I think of Juan Soto, is that 2019 World Series. And again, this is where the apologies to my Astros fan friends comes in. But I think of how he kind of dominated that World Series. He hit, I think 3 home runs. And I believe the photograph on this 2020 card is from the aftermath of the home run off of Justin Verlander in Game 6, which if you're familiar with that series, I'll spare you the whole breakdown. I've already gone over 12 minutes here. But if you're familiar with that World Series, that was a crushing home run off of the guy who actually led off today's video, ironically, Justin Verlander. And I think this photograph was taken right after he smashed that ball out of the park. So really cool context there. And in fact, that is the same home run where I think the photograph came from on this short print variation, which is another reason that I love that card. So a significant moment for Juan Soto, portrayed on cardboard and in a tough to find parallel in a high grade. Had to scoop this one up, and I'm really, really excited to add that to my Juan Soto collection. Have not been picking up a ton of his stuff of late, but I'm looking more now than I have, and I have a couple others that I'm kind of keeping an eye on that I may add as far as Juan goes as well. But for today, that's a wrap. 6 new cards for my sort of ever slowly expanding Topps Black parallel collection. If you made it to the end of the video, I certainly appreciate your time. As always, I'll be back soon with some more content. And until then, I hope you're all enjoying the hobby out there. Take care.